all my films, nature and land is a character. There is Urumi or Dalapati, anyone. I see it as a character. So if you are wanting to be a cinematographer, I think it's very important to get up in the morning and observe nature wherever you are, because everywhere is different. If you point your finger at the moon, look at the moon, don't look at the finger. Only the dog will look at the finger. The human will look at the moon. So all the people who want to be filming should look at the moon, not at the camera. Tupaki was interesting because it was being shot without much lights and all that, and on roads, candid.
Very candid.
He's standing in the middle of the road and no one knows the camera, like that.
Especially in Mumbai.
Yeah. But when you go to shoot with 20 people, there is 2 people come to see the shooting and the shooting is stopped.
இந்த வீடியோவை உங்களுக்கு வழங்குபவர்கள் Paces Pay, secure digital payments with multiple features and great success rate.
You have been working with M.F. Hussain project. How was that experience? Because he himself is a great painter, but he's not a traditional filmmaker. And how was it you are able to support them, sir?
Actually, when I went to do that film, he called me because he saw my commercials of Kerala. And looking at that, he did a whole series of paintings for Kerala tourism.
Meenakshi.
Not Meenakshi. I did an ad film on Kerala. Kerala, and that time I also made Ashoka. Then he called me to Delhi, so I went to meet him, and he said, I want you to shoot my next film, and I will give you an offer that you can't refuse. Then took me to a studio and showed me the paintings he did after seeing my Kerala film documentary. And then a huge picture of Ashoka with Ashoka fighting, Shah Rukh Khan fighting and all that he showed me. Then he told me to shoot this film, Meenakshi, which he said is his personal kind of a journey. So there is no real script and all that. But and he is also a little bit of a recluse, he likes to paint. So he will tell, in the morning he'll paint something, then he'll tell his son is also there, always, and he'll tell, this is how I am thinking, now go shoot and come, like that. So every day morning he'll do some painting and show something, this is the colors. So he's like that. So it was a very different experience. If you tell him that, but don't you think there's too much dialogue? Okay, then no need of dialogue, tear it up and do it. No dialogue. So you can't tell him also. And he is, at 85, he was very hardworking. And every day he would meticulously paint. Directing and all is all right, but he likes to paint. He'll paint in the morning. And then he'll tell this today's water paint I use, only those colors should come. Like that he'll say. And also you're learning from someone with such an experience. So it was quite interesting.
Very interesting film also, sir.
Yeah,
very abstract.
I made another film short for him, but then he passed away. That film was not complete.
Oh, okay, sir.
After that, I made another one.
After?
It is not complete. Thare, some Sabine or something like that.
Okay. Sir.
But the film never got completed and he passed away. So it never got. That also A.R. Rahman music and all. Not A.R. Rahman. Someone else was doing. Music all, we shot songs and all. There's a lot of effort that time.
Your first national award, I think it should be Perundachan.
Yeah, Perundachan.
Sir, Perundachan, the warm light, striking warm light, it was very new to our cinemas during that period.
Yeah.
That source, how you created that kind of source?
Actually, that is actually M.T. Vasudevan, the writer, told me, Santosh, this is not a very visual film, because there are only people talking. So I said, the face is like a landscape, sir. We can make it like a landscape. So he likes me because of the way I looked at it. Because it is not outdoors, just a room full of people. And that's all. Then I thought, okay, I should do something that is classical, because the story is a folklore which is very classical. So I think so I have actually tried to do the lighting like Rajini Verma paintings. So the imagery is like that.
Okay, sir.
Which later on I also perfected it with better style in Dalpati.
So Dalapati had a warm tone, sir. But Perundachan, I think it had a warm light, sir.
No, that's also warm light. No,
Warm tone, you
light only.
light only.
See, because we have used a tungsten light outdoor for,
Outdoor.
especially for Rajini sir.
Okay, okay. Sir.
When everyone is lit normal, Rajini sir is lit tungsten.
Tungsten.
And we'll put the sun behind or something like that to make him, make it natural.
Very natural.
And that too, still, because on the whole, the Dalpati is basically a period film converted to a modern one.
Modern.
So it's a Karna story.
Yeah.
So that Maniratnam was very clear that it should have that sense of classicism.
Yes. Sir, when Iruvar was released, that time that aspect ratio was very new for the audience because most of we are seeing a widescreen cinema.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we are going to see a movie with the square ratio.
Actually,
One is-
that is actually Maniratnam also wanted it that way because
okay.
he actually thought that this is a period film, but let us not restrict period only to sets and the music and the costumes. Let's also change the aspect ratio.
Aspect ratio. Okay.
It is also the kind of aspect ratio MGR's films have been seen. So he also wanted that aspect ratio because we are shooting 35, not even anamorphic. And then that aspect ratio also can actually embrace beautiful compositions because of like the square format, you know.
Yes, sir.
So the compositions are very strong in Iruvar.
Iruvar, yes, sir.
And it's also very similar to the Ray films of old times.
Old times. It had a lot of gradation. And the way used the wide lenses was fantastic. Sir.
While the way it came close, and also macro lenses.
Macro
Aishwarya is shown first with a pimple on her face. So it's very interesting to it's interesting to see. Like I said, Iruvar has a signature all over the place, so it can't be in another film.
Yes.
That's very important. Yeah.
So in your movies, we can see some extreme close-ups.
Yeah.
Unimaginable extreme close-ups. How you perceive it into the filmmaking? Sir?
I actually I like close-ups actually.
Yours is extreme, sir. Extreme close-ups.
No, actually, when you show something, then go extreme. No, why be minimal? So I think sometimes it's very interesting to see because I always remember someone saying, I think Tagore it was saying that you can see the whole world in a dewdrop. So I think
yes,
I think sometimes it's interesting to see if you can tell a story in an extreme close-up.
Extreme close-up. Sir, as an actor. Magarabachu.
Acting was accidental.
Okay, sir.
Because I never, when they called me also, I thought it was a shoot. Then they said, no, it's not a shoot. Because I think, I did a film called Anandabhadram.
Yes.
In that, I used a song fully with Rajaruma paintings. So with Prithviraj and Kavya Ma'am. That became very popular, especially among the women. So if you say at that time Rajaruma, everyone will automatically refer to either Perindachan or this song.
Yes,
or that film. Anandabhadram has that kind of visual quality of a painting. So the director was very smart, he is no more. He thought that maybe I should make him act because I also paint. I also sketch, So he wanted a real painter. This guy has some name also, so why not? So he asked me to act. So my father said you should because my grandmother used to teach there. In fact, you'll be surprised. In that film, the princess of Travancore is actually playing my caretaker for 2 scenes. She wanted to play. Then later, I told my father, this is a princess, yeah. So they said, he said, then ask her, don't, then we dissuaded her to.
You enjoyed it, sir?
Acting? No,
Acting.
Not.
No.
Yeah, because I think, it's not the same for like acting. Acting is a very difficult job.
Very difficult.
Everyone is judging you. My problem is I'm shooting and all the people, all the light boys and all the people I've been working with for the last 20 years are standing and watching me. It's very odd for me to, because they have seen me in a different behind camera. Now they're seeing me in front and they're wondering, Why he wants to do all this like that, you know. So it was not. Then of course Madhu Bhatt was there.
Madhubal, yeah.
And he is forever discussing after every shot, this is how it is done and all that. He's like a child, like, because he don't have a cinematographer acting. So he can tell, no, if you move this so much, you will go soft because 1.2, all that going on. So, and it was not, you're not, and I don't enjoy it, actually.
Okay, okay.
Because after that, I got a lot of opportunities.
Opportunities, okay. Sir.
Even a lot of Bengali opportunities also, when I didn't want to get. Because first of all, language is a problem. Then act and all, it needs discipline to act. It's not easy to.
Easy.
It's not easy because maybe I looked the part. So I was able to, no one complained.
Complaint.
But if you're a real actor, then you have to change your character. Everything has to change. That might not be possible unless you do a little bit of training or something. But I think my experience in acting is only by doing children's film, where you have to overact to tell the children.
Children, yes.
You'll overact, no? So that way I have some experience, but otherwise, no.
Sir, in your films, visual element, monsoon plays a huge role, sir.
So, yeah.
Yeah, almost all your films, monsoon play, you keep it as a very integral in your films. How you achieve in a short span of, we know when we are making movie for a particular period
No,
only.
basically, I think, I grew up in a place like Kerala, which is the influence of water is everywhere.
Okay, sir.
And even in terrorists, I have tried to use water like a metaphor for the character.
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes water can be very quiet. Then sometimes it can be just a drizzle. Sometimes it just can flow. Sometimes it comes like a waterfall, like a wave. So
yeah.
it can be. So it's like our mental how we. So I've tried to use that. I've done the same thing with the. So for in all my films, nature and land is a character. There is Urumi or Dalabadi, anyone. I see it as a character. I don't see it. So if you're going to show a character, then you have to give it all the emotions. So if you were looking at in terms of a film, so I try to bring in all the emotions that nature can have. So rain is a very prominent part of it, but you'll have other strong sunlight. I did Fissa where I've shot everything in top light. So that is another strong element. So you try to bring in different elements because if you're an aspiring cinematographer or whatever, if you look at the way nature is from morning to night, it is like a Navarasa happening. All the expressions are there. Morning, when you get up in the morning, you see everything monochrome, black and white almost. Then it becomes slowly subtle colors. Then it becomes sunshine when the sun, contrast when the sun comes. Then extreme contrast when the top light comes. Then slowly goes back into the sea. Then magic sky. So it's a beautiful Navarasa happening if you care to observe it. Then you pick one Navarasa and use it in your film. That's all. So if you are wanting to be a cinematographer, I think it's very important to get up in the morning and observe nature wherever you are.
Yeah.
Because everywhere is different. See, in Kerala, when you are shooting in houses, Kerala, how architecture is meant in such, or even in Tamil Nadu, to keep the light out because they don't want the light because it's very hot. So, in the dark rooms, streaks of light pick up dust and come. So, with a lot of energy. Or there is a courtyard, the light comes, like that. So, and if you go to UK, it's all glass and no sun. So it's a different. If the architecture is designed to with nature, so everything is designed with nature actually. So even the first time someone painted a picture is to do everything is like that. So I think if you observe nature, you're a student of nature basically. And you're a cinematographer and all that. You're a nature, light, sun. So if you're not a filmmaker, maybe you'll become a cinematographer. You might become a farmer. I think. So now I'm farming. Yeah, in Pondicherry. Yeah.
Navarasa. Sir, another fantastic film from you, sir. Navarasa. That is why you kept title as Navarasa for a film made on third gender, sir.
Actually, some of these films just happened. I was actually doing these. I actually did all the polio ads with Amitabh Bachchan to eradicate polio, whatever. It is eradicated now. So then similarly, I did films for AIDS for Bill Gates Foundation. Then I did a lot of series of small films for AIDS. So I interacted with these people. And then I got the story from someone that this really happened. So I thought very exciting. But they said, oh, you're going to make fun of us. Because anyone who uses Aravanis or Hijras in a movie only use them for to laugh at.
Yes,
Because
they use a funny element only in
only
movies.
funny element. And they make fun of them. Physical fun. So I said, no, I'm making a serious film. So they all agreed. So the main lady is actually a original lady only. Then I thought, let the young person discover all this. So when we went to shoot it, we had no permission like that. People don't like you to shoot on this. So we shot it on video camera, mostly. Then later on, I edited everything and then shot it off the screen on 16, like that.
16 mm.
Later.
Blow up, sir?
Bro. But it's that kind of a film. Because most of these films are very niche films. But if you don't tell that story, then no one will know. No one is going to spend a lot of money and do it.
No, very interesting aspect of that film is there is no sympathetic view also, sir.
Yeah.
That see, many filmmakers one day will make fun, or they will have a sympathetic view.
Yeah.
But you had somewhere in between,
I
like a journey, sir.
Yeah, I like the whole idea of being objective. See, I made a film called Tahar in Kashmir, so I'm very objective. I'm neither with the army or nor with the terrorists, and there's no much violence there. It's only a kid's point of view on a donkey. So it's like a very objective view of things, because that is very important to me. Because I don't think by making films we can change the world and all that. I don't believe that, because whatever you make, some people take away something, some people don't take away, like that. So I don't think you can change the world. But I think you can objectively make people look at it and let them form their own opinion what it is to. We don't have to guide them into. It's not an educational film to guide them into.
Yes, sir.
It's
So
like I feel it feels stupid to watch a film where it's written, don't smoking is bad for you. Then you should write rape is bad, killing is bad, everything you should write.
many aspects are like
So that is stupid, I think. I mean, whose idea it was, I don't think. And because of that, so many films for English films are not released here also because they refuse to put this kind of warnings. So it's not right, actually. I think you should be objective. Then you will say, oh, all the Gajra statues should be clothed now. All that will start, no. That's all not good.
Sir, as a cinematographer, over the years, you are ready to experiment with any kind of camera, any kind of lens. How you find the character with the camera? If a new camera comes, how you adapt it so easily, sir? And we are not fancy of big cameras also, sir.
I always believed, something I learned as a child, that the best camera is the camera you have with you. You don't have to. That's the best camera at that time. You might have better cameras, but the best camera at that time is the camera you have with you. Secondly, if you point your finger at the moon, look at the moon, don't look at the finger. Only the dog will look at the finger. Because human will look at the moon. So all the people who want to be filming should look at the moon, not at the camera. So these are the two things I learned. Then I think somewhere along the line, the best horse for the race is the best one for the course, which is like that. So if you look at examples, when I did Tupaki, I said we'll do digital. So that time digital was very fresh and only small people used to shoot. But I thought Tupaki was interesting because it was being shot without much lights and all that, and on roads, candid.
Very candid.
He's standing in the middle of the road and no one knows there's a camera like that.
Especially in Mumbai.
Yeah. So if it's digital, I can have a multiple camera and all that stuff. And I don't need to have too much of reflectors, and you can't attract attention because none of the people around know it's happening. So we shot like that. And at that time there was a little opposition, but then because the film became big hit film, everyone was saying okay. Then recently the small cameras I started experimenting because I was shooting directing this web series for MD Vasudevan Nair stories, and it was a pandemic time, and then suddenly they said, cops said that only 20 people can be there.
Okay, sir.
But when you go to shoot with 20 people, there is two people come to see the shooting and the shooting is stopped.
Okay.
So I knew that I had to do something else. So I started shooting with this new Canon had the C70, which is a much smaller camera.
Smaller,
Only
C6.
one person. I can operate it myself, even follow focus, everything.
Everything, yes.
Everything I can operate. That means you will reduce 4 people. And no monitor, nothing. Everything you can do it yourself. So I shot the whole thing with that. And then when later this was seen by M.T. Vasudevan Nair and Priyadarshan was also seeing it, Priyan asked me what kind of stuff is that. I also want to shoot with that. So it became very popular. We used to use it for ad films. And even Chengol, the PMO's film that we did, Priyan directed that. I shot that. We've used that. So I started using that quite a bit. Then the Canon people asked me to test out their new R5 camera and make one day you shoot something. So I shot with that also. And then you find that it's very interesting that you can match everything.
Everything, yeah.
Now you can also go IMAX with that.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, okay.
You can also go IMAX with
IMAX,
that because it is 4K and it is also Netflix attested.
Approved camera.
And also this Fire is 8K.
Yes, sir.
It's 8K.
8K, yes, sir.
Not that you need 8K, 4K is enough actually. 8K only if you want to zoom in and all that. We don't want. We will be framing correctly. We don't need any zooming in and all that. Because whenever the resolution goes higher, it affects the color space.
Color space.
That's why Alexa doesn't go higher than 4K.
Higher resolution. So this is a fantastic observation, sir.
Not very mild, but it affects.
It affects. While talking about your films, the earlier films like Pavitram, it had it's a small family stories, but beautifully photographed. Sir. How was that experience at that time? Shooting Pavitram.
Actually, shooting Malayalam films is very special to me because you understand the language, you understand everything, and there is a lot of camaraderie between the light boys will say, your last film was not good. They'll talk like that. To the actor also. Your last film didn't do well, no, all that. So we all eat the same kind of food. There's no hierarchy.
Okay, sir.
And the people you are dealing with, you know very well. And they last forever. Even now, my crane guys will come and see me. Even in Chennai, when I am working, I'm still the people who did crane for river because now it's all become Jimmy Jim and all that. The relevance is over. So I try to get them Jimmy Jibs and those things like that. But in Malayalam, that is there. So there is a lot of fun. And all these actors are very funny in real life also. So, and when you're shooting, people from other sets will come to visit and everything. So it's interesting that way. And then also I feel you understand the emotions because these are things that have happened in our families. What is happening? Because actually, Murugadas and all that will make fun because they'll say in Malayalam, people come and sit, talk, let's sit, get up, go. Because see, in Malayalam, there's a big problem. Malayalam films, I would say, are like our house plants. They don't want to go into tree and all that. It should be just a house. That's a Malayalam. Yes. If they want a tree, they'll go and outside and see a Tamil film or a Hindi film or a Andhra film. They don't expect the Malayalam film to have that flavor or dance or loud.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Rajini can romance a 15-year-old girl, no problem. Not Mammootty and yeah, that is the kind of.
இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க. மறக்காம OH சினிமா சேனலுக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க.